Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can also listen to our Sunday sessions we have on the Miguel and Holly Uncensored feed. I'm up this week and I'll be interviewing one of my really good friends who you've heard me tell stories about him throughout the years. And I figured it was time for him to tell his side of the story. I'm into these stories. Miss Derek.
Oh, gosh. Good.
Yes.
Good. There's about to be some yapping.
Yep. Well, I told him, I said, it's 30 minutes.
Oh.
Don't get crazy because
dang, okay.
He's one of those Southern storytellers that sit down.
No. Well, wait, let me back up
and
then tell a full-on other 5 tangents. I like it.
Yes.
I personally like it.
It's always fun, but I'm like, listen, we're doing it tomorrow. We're getting close to Memorial Day weekend. Even though we have fun jobs, I'm ready to not be at work.
Reel it in.
So
right.
Just let's get to the point. So we actually have a call today to sort of prepare him and go through it.
A prep call.
Mm-hmm. We're doing a prep call today, and then tomorrow we record, and then we'll release it on Sunday.
Love that.
So, but then we have our other podcast too, Miguel and Holly Full Show. What, Holly?
Does everybody else see Zenda's comment
It's
under
a new
Kelvin?
feature.
Oh yeah, it's a new feature that they have.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My mind got blown. On the video, if you're just listening to this, there's a new online feature, and I got my mind blown. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's almost like Twitch. I think this happens on Twitch where when people comment, it shows up on the video. So when we're live, if you comment,
We're like Instagram Live, it happens.
yeah, absolutely, you can see it.
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Mhm.
So sorry. I was very thrown. Go ahead.
Before I have a couple of things from TikTok that I wanted to bring up on the show. There's one of them that I almost put it on today's show schedule, but it was too messy that I was like, let's bring it to the podcast first because I just feel like this is too messy without having all the details.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. But I wanted to chat with Kelvin first because Kelvin, I got a little choked up yesterday reading your Instagram story and seeing all the messages that you've been receiving about your podcast. And I was like, I love this. I just want you to talk about that a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been I think it's just been one of my highlights just working with you guys is having a community that really cares and listens to you. And I feel like I've been adopted into this family. And that's truly, I mean, yeah, I'm going to say it's a majority Miguel and Holly fan members. They're just so supportive and so sweet. And it's been so nice because, like I said, I think with anybody who does a radio show or a podcast, really, any kind of show, it's always like, is anybody listening?
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody ever listening? Am I just talking into blank space? And so when I get messages from people saying like, I relate to this, or like, thank you so much for saying this, or I really love your podcast, it's substance. It's just been really great and really sweet. So I'm so grateful. I've been so grateful.
Yeah. And then you're so smart. Like you promote so well. I've literally not once ever put on social media that I have my own. Mainly because I didn't think to do it. So, but anyway, I love that you're doing. I will probably take a page from your book because I'm like, I feel like the people that message me probably would like to be recognized that they reached out, and I'm really glad that you do that because I love reading those comments, and it's just such good validation.
Right.
That's what it feels like. And I think I took a page from Miguel's book, which is like, ain't nobody else going to promote you like you. So that's all I'm doing. You know, I never want to be, is egregious the right word?
No, I don't think for here.
No, I don't ever want to, I don't know. I don't even think I'm doing anything wrong. You know, sometimes people post things and you feel like, oh, am I posting too much of this? You know, I try to keep people anonymous. You know,
it's funny you say that. I remember years ago, for old Platypus Posse members, I'm sorry, I'm paying attention. I'm trying to get this video up for the next part of the podcast. Our old producer, Scott, when he was in college still, and he would do all this great stuff, and then he would only post like one story on his Instagram every other day, or on his feed. And I'm like, why are you not posting more? People, like, we're welcoming you into the Miguel and Holly fam. Share with them, because that's what this relationship is about between us and the fam.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was sort of like the Pandora's box opened. And like sometimes I look at Scotty's story and I'm like, girl, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I love it, because I'm like, no one will ever be able to cheer you on if you don't tell them that you need a cheerleader.
Right.
Do it. And if people think it's too much or they think it's cringe, then they won't look and they'll go find somebody else.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
so
true.
hard. I gotta write that down, I think.
Like what freaks you out about that, Holly?
I don't know. I just feel like nobody wants to hear my shit. That's usually the overarching theme. I've had this. I actually want to do a podcast topic on this, where I have this such a weird dichotomy happening in me. And I saw a really cool Instagram post that like named those things. Like, you've got a child part of you that is just like wild and free and wants to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Then you've got like the adult part of you that is like, sort of like the CEO of your people in there, or like whoever. Then you've got the parent part of you who is like, we need some rules. Like, we got to get some rules down here. So there's like an adult, a parent, which are different, and then a kid. And I was like, when my kid part comes out, which I enjoy greatly, because it doesn't get to do that very much anymore. After it happens, the parent part of my brain is like, God, you are so obnoxious and cringe. And like, that part is so loud.
Right.
And so, like, for example, this is a perfect example. So I told you a couple weeks ago, we did karaoke at my house with Scott and Monica. And then Monica had, unbeknownst to me, sent you videos of me, which I believe we're going to have a no phone policy at the karaoke from now on. But she did. And so you're playing it. And I was like, in a second, I was like, oh yeah. But then like I went home and I like worried about that all day. I was like, oh my God. Like,
I relate
so
to that.
embarrassing. And like, I hate that I do this, but I was having the best time. But I'm like, that is so obnoxious and embarrassing. And like, I'm like, they think I'm stupid. Everybody thinks I'm stupid. And it's just, it was a whole thing. So I'm having a very difficult time marrying these different parts of myself.
Yeah, I relate to that so much, because there'll be things that I post, whether it'll be from like the karaoke, right? When I do Anaconda, I always regret after I post it, because I'm like, I fucking do this all the time. Who wants to watch this? And then the other side of me is like, this is great. I fucking hit that verse. And then when it comes to politics, I have written so many huge paragraphs where, how I write when it comes to Trump. Like, I get so fucking angry and I call all his supporters clowns. Oh. And then I'm like, oh my God, no. I have Miguel and Holly listeners who like, they probably don't like that. Or the people who follow me probably don't appreciate being called clowns, even though they still follow me. Having people be angry or just it be a negative space. And then I regret it and then I delete it. So I understand what you're saying in regards to personal stuff, but also my policy side and all of it. You kind of regret a little bit of being yourself.
I can see where you're coming from, Kelvin, especially when it comes to politics, because I've backed off, especially since we talked to Bakari.
And that's a bit of a different beast.
But
politics altogether in America right now.
Right. But I totally understand that, because there are times where I'm just like, I feel like I'm sort of putting my head underneath the sand a little bit, but then I feel like for my own personal mental health, I kind of have to. And then plus, I also need to keep a job. And like, we had a slew of new Charlotte fan members who probably don't listen to the podcast just yet. But as I was going through who followed the Miguel and Holly page, there were a couple who had Trump stuff posted. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, they're in the fam. Like, I don't agree with their politics, but I also don't want to alienate them, especially at this point.
I want them as a listener.
And I'm trying to keep a job right now. So, that's just going to have to go by wayside at this moment. But that's a whole nother topic. But I also think what's interesting, Holly, like you and I you can Google both of our names and there are like the most humiliating things online that we've done in the past.
Yes.
And so I find it just so interesting that like you doing something that we've played audio before. We used to do a bit around karaoke.
Yeah.
Like, and looking ridiculous that would make you feel a type of way when we've done that in so many different forms over the years.
I know. And I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know.
I do find it, like, I do also relate to, because
well, and part of it, like, before you say whatever it is, like you have talked about how like you never want to like look a fool in public, and like if Abe should ever say something, like you're gonna come down and be like, we are representing the brand, you know. And so then I think about that and I'm like, oh God.
But there's like if you were like running down 4th Street North in St. Pete flashing your titties, like
oh my God.
That's one thing, but you being in your private home singing karaoke, like that's part of the Miguel and Holly brand. Like that's fun. It's life. It's energy.
Liked it. I obviously liked it enough to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was like such a great night. But then I was like, God, why do I do this? Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I'm a parent, where I'm at in the parenting journey, just stuff that's happened in my life over the past like 8 years or whatever.
I think I may have, because I think I'm going through something kind of similar. Yesterday. So what I do, and I think I've explained this before, that like in my new content creator era that I've been tiptoeing in.
Yeah.
If you go to like my TikTok or my Instagram, and you can see like I'm trying to find my voice. I'm trying to find my niche. In all the research I've done on content creators is, you know, like when we have Dre on our on-air show,
yeah.
and her niche, her brand is all things Charlotte. She is the Charlotte girly. But then when you go to her Instagram story, she talks about her personal life a little bit more. And so I've been following some people and trying to figure out like what am I trying to say on social media? And I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But in doing so, I'm trying a bunch of different stuff. And there are actually a couple of TikToks that I've done that I was like, that's a little cringe. Like, that's a little. But then I'm like, I have been on a billboard naked before.
I know.
I have literally sang When I Can't Carry a Fucking Tune for years in a top 20 radio market, and I have made my name on doing embarrassing shit. Like literally when Abe's dad first met me, I was in a bikini pretending to be Lady Gaga on the beach next to a fake palm tree.
Oh
like,
man, I forgot about that.
Why am I embarrassed for strangers? But I think for me, and maybe this has something to do with you, Holly, I think what's changed is the tone of social media and how people react to things. Because back in the day when we would post, like, for those of you that are new, we used to do this bit called headphone karaoke, where we would sing songs, we hear them in our ears, you would just hear our voices, you would vote for the worst, and then we do a consequence. When we would post us singing and then the consequence, that lived in the Miguel and Holly universe bubble. Like, I never expected any of those videos to go viral. I was never wanting people outside of our listeners to comment or like it. But now, in this new world of social media and what we're judged by, they want us to go viral. They want us, other people from New York and all these other places, to comment and share and enjoy our things in hopes that you'll listen to our show on the iHeartRadio app. And so I think for me, what's made me a little more timid in what I'm posting is because I don't know the grace and the love that you talked about, Kelvin, from our fan members that you get for trying something new isn't there for people that don't understand what we're trying to do. So for instance, like when I posted a couple of weeks ago, I was on one of my walks and I saw these little geese, little ducklings or whatever. And it had like a little mom next to it. And there was another one. And I literally didn't think twice about it. I put up the Reba McEntire, a single mom who works 2 jobs. And it was supposed to be funny. And then the first comment on my TikTok was, "You dumb idiot. There's 2 there with those children." And I was like, it was just funny. Just a joke. It was just.
And then it really does. It kind of sticks in your brain.
Right. And so the difference is that, you know, when you post on TikTok, it just goes to the FYP. So that didn't go to the people that follow me. It just went through a random stranger. So then I left it up. And then, of course, people who know me were like, "Ha, that's funny. That's so stupid and random. Something Miguel would post, you know?"
Yeah.
And so I've had to get that out of my brain and be like, you know what? If that was a piece of engagement. That guy engaged with me. And so
Yeah.
I kind of have to put on the armor that I have for our radio show. Like when people call up, and they do sometimes, and they don't agree with me or they chastise me, I have my armor on for negative comments from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m.
hmm
Because I'm just like, this is my job. Like, I publicly speak on things and I get paid to give my opinion. So if you disagree, that's a good day for me because I've made you feel something.
Yeah.
But I don't have that armor yet for social media, the new version of social media that we're in, where everyone's trying to be a content creator and everyone wants to say something snarky. I say all that to say, you have to sort of put that armor on because we're living in a new world where you kind of have to look at it as, hey, thanks for the engagement.
Thanks for the engagement.
Because,
Is it-
Yeah.
Is it the hesitation of posting, or is it that you don't like that you were singing and it was filmed? Like, are you cringing at being like, oh, that's a mother doing that, she shouldn't be doing that? Or is it because of what Miguel's talking about, or a mix of both?
Maybe a mix of both.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
because
I feel more like guttural about like being made fun of recently, or maybe lately, or like being the butt of the joke or
yeah.
whatever, where I'm just kind of like embarrassed, like that I
Yeah.
would let myself be that
I
way.
I 100% understand that. There's so
It's-
many I hesitated from posting for so long because I was overweight, and I stopped posting. I used to be so opinionated on my Insta stories and say all these things and make funny content, and then I stopped because I was like, I don't like what I'm looking at. I don't like what I'm seeing. Not saying that that's your case,
Right,
just
no.
in general, the discomfort of like, I don't want to do that.
Yes. And then I also think it's partly what Miguel's saying too, because like I don't use Facebook very much anymore. I don't think any of us do. But I do go on at least once a day or so to look at my memories. And I see like what I used to post. And I'm like, oh my God, like I would get slammed for that today. Like it was just something that today wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just so many like parameters that you got to be careful of while posting. And then there's the engagement, and there's like it feels to me like social media is not just like fun for you anymore to do. Like it's part of our job. There's so many different rules and like how you put together, like you can't really just put a post up anymore. Like you have to make a whole reel, and it's got to be this and that, and you have to be editing it with all these different softwares. And I feel like I'm not going to do it right.
All that
So-
work, and then it flops.
and then it flops. And then you're like, all right, got to do it again tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm trying to love that. And I just don't. And so it's just really, there's a lot. There's a
Right.
lot of prongs as to what is happened and has happened. And like, I think part of it too is like, you see all these things as a parent where you're like, are you being present in your kid's life? Are you on your phone because they're going to just want to be engaged in their iPad or whatever? And so Maya will call me out sometimes if I'm like on my phone. And so I try not to be on my phone when I'm around her. So that's truly a thing. But then also like, I used to use my social media more freely and more carefree, and just been like, I don't give an F about what anybody else thinks. Then I had a couple of like deeply like gut punch traumatic type things for me, not probably wouldn't be for everybody, that happened that made me suddenly like very cautious about what I am putting out to the universe. And like, it just gets it. Like there's a lot of psychological and real world and, repercussions and things. And I think we talked about this ad nauseum now, but it's overwhelming and it's just a lot. And I'm like, I've gotten some really good messages from people for the Mother's Day podcast that I did. And it like literally never even crossed my mind that I should put that on social media. I've never even put the fucking podcast on social media on my own, because then also I'm like, oh my God, like what if a family member hears this and they're mad that I said some shit about my mom?
Ooh, I feel that.
Like, y'all, I don't know. I need fucking a pill for this. Like, can somebody just give me a pill for this?
Like a Joe Blunt.
I think
What
it's just
therapy
like
for this.
sort of being, and
God.
that's what I've had to like break through of just thinking about like who young Miguel was and how I would like do like the decisions that I made to like get to this point is so ridiculous, because if I were faced with those decisions now at almost 40,
Right.
I would be so timid and be like, oh my gosh, I can't, like, who's
yeah.
going to judge me? And I think too, for me also, it's just getting older and, sort of like we look at ourselves every single day. Like right now, we're
Yeah.
looking at this camera, we're looking at ourselves, and I can physically see that like I am older. Like, and so I think that for me and some of the content that I'm posting on TikTok and Instagram, because, you know, I sort of try to stay up on like the trending sounds, and you sort of go through some of the examples on Instagram or TikTok, and then you see everyone else is doing it is like 25 and 27. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, here comes me, 39-year-old Miguel, trying to do, here's my propaganda list for things in my marriage. And
Oh my
everyone else is
God.
like, I don't believe in going to school or skipping school. And I'm like,
Oh, God.
I am
Skipping
almost 40
school.
years old, hopping on the same fucking trend as these kids.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit like,
And as we get older, more people become adults.
Right.
So like when we were even like, 8 years ago, we were still right in it, and there weren't that many people younger than us. The
Mhm.
older we get, the more younger people than us, and the more people that
Yes.
will call us cringe. So there's
But-
that too.
There are older influencers.
Yeah,
right. Fuck you, bitch.
I just said older. I didn't say old. I said there are older.
I agreed because there
It's true.
are.
Older
It's
than
true.
Miguel.
I just
not
wish-
too much, but a little bit older.
I just wish they'd come across my FYP because they sure don't. Let's see here.
I follow this woman that teaches me big words. Aunt Betty. I can't remember her name, but she's great.
Oh, I love
But
that.
do you know who actually is really good about helping me get out of my head? And every day, because I sit every day around 2:00, and that's my social media time to
Mhm.
create.
Yeah.
Jules from Demure. Remember Demure, very demure, very mindful.
Oh, yes, the
Jules.
content creator, Jules. Okay. Yeah.
She actually is very motivational, and I love that she's coming across my plate more, because one of the things that she keeps saying is she was like, girl, I was a fat trans cashier in August who would just get on my breaks, go to my car, and just say random stuff on TikTok, post it, and then go back inside. And then I just said one thing, and to me what really got me is she was in Chicago, and Beyonce shouted her out on stage.
Mhm.
Oh, damn.
She was like, Beyonce shouted me out on stage. Her mom wrote about me in her book. I just bought property for myself. I have paid for my transition, and I'm now helping other people with their transitions by just being me.
Mm.
And when you look through her stuff, girl is like, take her wigs off and her hair's all crazy and she's just talking into it. And it's so inspiring because she's like, just be yourself. The audience that wants to see it will find it. And this is for us, and this is for you too, listening. If you're like,
Mhm.
I want to post on TikTok and I want to be a content creator, do it. Go look at Jules' page. It's really she does a really great job of being very inspiring.
I like that.
And just being like, just fucking go do it.
There's a different timeline where Miguel is feeling really cringy about posting all his videos and he's not liking it, and then he stops. And then there's a different timeline where he's posting it every single day. He's going to get to a point where something hits. He's
Mhm.
going to find the audience. He's going to have a digital audience. It's going to grow by thousands, hundreds of thousands, and he's making a shit ton of money. So there's different timelines of what you could feel and how you could shift your perspective.
It's
Mhm.
true.
You also might just not want to fucking do it too. I mean, that's also a reality as well, right?
Mhm.
But I think now that I'm understanding it a little bit more, I'm finding joy in creating.
That's cool.
And I
In a
think
different way.
it is,
Yeah.
yes. And I think what's happening for me is that I've always said I'm not like a funny person. Like I do funny things, but I'm not a funny person. Like, which is why I would never do stand up. Like I'm not one to just like write jokes and go up on stage. But like if it's Holly and Kelvin and I sitting on a stage and they give us 5 topics and we can just riff between each other, I can do funny things in that setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I find on social media, you have to actually be a little funny to do it. And so that's why I'm trying to find that perfect balance of like understanding I'm not a funny person, but I can do funny things. And so what can fit in that wheelhouse that is me? And so I'm sort of flexing another muscle in creating and finding things that like what we do on the show. Like when I'm like, all right, today, what do we do? What did we talk about? What was that confession that we ended up riffing off of?
Non-sexual things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the non-sexual things. Like we have been trained now. We had a confession that came in and I asked the question spontaneously on the air. what's something that's weird that you're attracted to? And I said in those 6 minutes between those two songs, Holly, Kelvin, come up with one if we don't get any phone calls. You both said, boom, boom. I did too. Boom, boom. We did it. And then we had a funny bit about it.
Yeah.
So taking that muscle and then putting it to social media is what I'm working on right now. And so it's been an interesting exercise for me in flexing and learning a different muscle.
Are you just, you said you're doing this by just looking at trends?
Yeah. And there are a couple of like Instagram pages that I follow that every day they're like, hey, here's a trending thing that you can manipulate into your niche if you have a business or if you are just trying to be a content creator or whatever. And then you sort of make it fit within you.
Because that's one of my biggest problems is like, I look back on like, remember we used to do TikTok Tuesday? And I saved all of those videos. Like when they were going to shut down TikTok, I spent like an hour going through TikTok and like downloading every one of them because I'm like, they're not getting my content. And then they didn't shut down TikTok. Surprise. So anyway, though, as I was going through them and getting them all, I was like, man, this was so fun. Now, sometimes I hated it in the moment. I'll be honest with you. But what was good was that I was given a task and then I could do it within the parameters of that. Like, I have a hard time. I think I'm a better reactor than a better generator, which is what we talk about behind the scenes in radio stuff. And so you give me something, you give me a task, and I'm going to do it. And I'm probably going to do it pretty well. I struggle with a blank page. I'm like, I don't know. I got nothing.
You know what you should do? And this is super behind the scenes, but remember like radio blogs, how we used to every day you had to come up with something. Every day you had to come with one lifestyle, pop culture, 60 seconds or less thing. Maybe make a challenge for yourself that way. Like, what is happening today? Like yesterday when you text us about the topic we're going to talk about in the next couple of days about the smell from the gym or the Justin Bieber thing, you know, like just getting on TikTok and just being like, did y'all see what Justin Bieber said? How crazy is that? And then taking a couple of screenshots, boom, there's your post for the day. And just doing that, like treat it like a radio blog. Like every day I'm coming with something, whether it's personal or pop culture or news wise.
Those were hard for me. That was a struggle, radio blogs, by the way, because it's making something out of nothing.
Right.
And so that has always, I mean, even back to the Kramer days, that has always been my struggle. Like if you tell me what to do, I will do it. But like if I have to just come up with something out of thin air, I will feel like I don't know. I can't think of anything. But there's stuff there. It just takes, you know, being pulled out. But yes. So yes, keep an eye. Blogs. I'm just writing things down.
All right, real quick.
Yeah, well, I want to hear about what you wanted to share. Or what you posted on Instagram. You posted something?
No, so this is something I came across. Actually, my friend Leighton sent me this, and he was like, "Girl, get her on the show. We need to find out about this girl." So this is another messy Charlotte dating situation. That's the great thing about living in a city full of millennials and Gen Zs that are on Instagram and TikTok is they just be posting about all their shit on there, and then you're like, "Ooh, girl." But I was like, this one felt a little too personal. So a few weeks ago or months ago, there was a guy on TikTok, this gay guy who was like, "Girl, Shelby, I was in the YMCA in Noda, and your man is cheating on you because he was getting up on this woman." And we played that on the air. And then we played the audio. And to me, I was like, that one was just enough removed where we didn't know the woman's face. We didn't know the guy's face. All it was some guy named Clay or whatever at the YMCA who has a man bun. That's all we knew.
Right.
This one is a little more detailed.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, I don't know if a broadcaster, I don't feel responsible doing this on our radio airwaves.
Like
on the podcast.
Oh,
I don't care that much because it's already on TikTok.
Listen, you got to search it out on the podcast.
Right.
You could come across it on the radio.
Right. Like if somebody just, you know, his mom, this guy that this girl's about to talk about was like driving down the street and put on 96.1 and been like, oh, that's my son.
Right.
So I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's 3 minutes, but
oh, damn.
Listen to what this girl is
I want to
saying.
hear about now.
about this guy named.
Hi, if you know this man, or you know somebody who maybe knows this man, or you live in Charlotte, North Carolina in general, or even South Carolina, please listen. His name is Alex. I've been seeing him since January, not entirely exclusive this entire point, but to a point we were exclusive, and then on Saturday, he asked me to be his girlfriend. On Sunday, I found out I'm not the only girlfriend. Enter girlfriend 1 and 2. I'm actually girlfriend 3, crazy. One of which he's been dating for 9 months, and the other one he's been dating for over a year and is very involved with her and her 2 kids as a family unit. To say I was shocked was not, it doesn't even cover it, for lack of better words. The lies were thorough. The manipulation, so thorough. I like to think of myself as someone who's really intuitive, and I was picking up on things, but every response he had pretty much squashed any fears I had. There are 7 to 10 other women that he's potentially talking to and dating, just from some research that we've all done. As you know, we confronted him. And I do believe there's potentially other girlfriends that have yet to know about what he's doing. He does do this in cycles. This is not the first time that I'm aware of and he has admitted to me that he does this in cycles, and that he knows it's going to blow up in his face, yet he does it anyway because he can't be happy with just one person. He doesn't like this about himself. At least there's that. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be in this situation. I share all this because I know there's more out there. I've been reached out to from women from Wilmington and Asheville since, and for your mental health, your well-being, and all the things, I can't not expose this man for what he's done to me and other women. He was building lives with other women far more than, what we accomplished in our 5 months of dating. So for me, this is about making it so he can never continue doing this again. I am taking actions to have him banned from the dating apps that we matched on. I really don't want to make this easy for him at all. And out of
All right. So we'll stop it there.
Good Lord.
I was like,
A woman scorned.
wow.
Multiple
Wow.
women.
All a Charlotte scorned girl. Like,
How do you even have the time? How you got the time to build a family with kids and have like 4 other girlfriends?
and here's the thing is that in the comments on this girl's or TikTok, like women that are like, wait a minute, I know this guy. And they're like discovering in real time. And so that's why I was like, you know me, I saw that and I was like, girl, we're doing that at 7:20.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We don't know. I have not corroborated. I don't know what's real and what's not. I don't want to put someone on blast like that.
Right.
But
Should we?
Crazy as bitch.
yes. I said no to the other one. I say yes to this one. It appears research has been done, and we're not. There is a huge difference between this video and the last video. The last video, that gay man was out here. He's like, "Ooh, and a man bun girl," and I was like, "This is not even like. Do you have facts, or do you just have tea that you want to just be about?" This girl has done like research. She's in a coalition of other women. Like she's contacting the dating apps. That's the difference to me.
Kelvin?
I don't know, sister. That's a little messy. That's a little messy. It's giving defamation. I just don't know.
I mean, that's where you have to worry about with slander.
Yeah.
Because unless you reached out to the girl. If you reached out to the girl and she came on to tell the story,
I
then
agree.
we are absolved.
Right.
There's no liability on our end if she's the one telling the story, not us, third party. Yeah.
Although at this point, I feel like a lawyer would find this video and then use it.
Probably not. I mean, they find everything.
Yes, I
They
think,
find everything.
No, but see, here's the thing. I did take media law. You have to.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. The fucking smile.
You have to show what is it? Not malintent. You basically have to show intention that you were meaning to
Cause harm.
Harm. Yes, I can't remember what the term is.
Okay.
And like, I don't know any of these people. Like, I just this is on a public platform, girl.
So on record, you are not trying to cause harm.
And honestly, it is
Yeah,
a
I'm trying to
little
get to
bit
the truth.
difficult to, because I tried to see about slander myself one time, and it's pretty blurry. You
Right.
have to have a pretty airtight
The
case.
Proof of burden is very like they would have to. Like if I knew this homegirl and was pretending like I didn't know her, and I was
Right.
like, I'm gonna help her get back at this man by pretending like we're not friends. I'm gonna expose him. But then there were text messages of me being like, don't worry, girl, I got your back.
Right.
Like then they would
It
have
had
grounds.
been premeditated and
Right,
all
right.
of this. But yeah, it's actually pretty difficult to take someone down for slander, even if they say some shit.
Right.
If they say some shit,
Which is unfortunate.
it is.
Yeah.
But you would get a media lawyer who'd be like, it's not worth all this, because it takes a lot of money to also go after someone. So it's unfortunate, but I guess also fortunate in a way.
I wanted to find the gay guy from the other video, because of course he got in on this.
No, he did
Of
not.
course he
This
fucking
bitch
did.
loves some drama.
And he
Not this again.
He might as well have been like, breaking news, guys. There's another cheater in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And he was like, and she told me, she sent me the information. I was like, this boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's that one.
Oh.
And then there was another one a couple of months ago did you see this, Kelvin, where somebody from one of the high rises here in Charlotte had taken a video of two people getting out of the back of a car. Clearly they had sex in this car.
Mm-hmm.
How clearly? What does that mean?
Was this the cop?
No, this wasn't the cop. No, this was like just a unmarked, or it was just a regular SUV.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they got out and they're like, they got in the back seat.
Oh,
and then they're
were
like,
adjusting clothing.
Yeah.
Got
And
it.
so, but then this person created a do TikTok. And so we didn't know who the person was. And then it was like the Eye of Charlotte or something like that, really mysterious.
That stresses me out.
And then people were trying to see, and then they found out who the guy was. And the guy was married with children and was cheating on his wife with a coworker in the backseat of the car on this rooftop in Charlotte.
Jesus.
I was like, girl, you can't do nothing.
Good Lord.
You really can't. I mean, never mind that, which is very creepy.
Right.
It's giving Big Brother vibes, like you're always being watched, but also you are. And just the amount of technology nowadays that you can have on people's phones, that you can dig and all that stuff. Sorry to the cheaters. It's hard to pull it off nowadays.
I honestly don't know how people do that, because with
Nowadays,
Ring doorbell
yes.
cameras, Find My Friend,
location tracking, all that good stuff. Yeah.
How do people? I don't know. We I don't know how North Carolina would take this bit. Oh. Remember, I think years ago with Kramer, we did during the summertime Cheaters Week, and we had cheaters on to talk about why they did it, how they did it.
Yes, except I think that it was called Mistress Week.
Oh, that's right.
So we're gonna have to revamp a couple of things. First of all,
oh, radio, the early 2000s, girl.
Bring it back.
Yes. I think cheaters, the non-sexed, the non-gendered title would be perhaps better. Mistress Week.
Jesus.
2009, 2010, girl, we were getting it on the radio, honey.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you know what? Because 100%, this is obviously, I want ratings, but I really do want to know, how are people doing this? How are you getting away? Is it that you're with someone who's oblivious? Are you because to me, I look at cheating kind of like murder now, where it's girl, why even try? Because you're gonna get caught. You are going to get caught.
I think part of the thing with cheating is that they know they're going to get caught eventually. some, and I mean, actually, I have had this conversation with my therapist. There are a lot of different reasons why people cheat, and there's a lot of different psychological, backgrounds, because everything is a little bit different. So you can't just slap like a blanket or paint with a broad brush on all cheaters, because everyone cheats for a little bit of a different reason. But there are some common themes. And I think one of them is that if you are going to be so bold as to step out on a partner, right, for whatever reason, justified in your head or not, you sort of in the back of your mind, you know for sure it's wrong, unless you have a personality disorder where you have zero empathy, like a narcissist or something. But you know it's wrong, which means you also know there's a chance that you're going to get caught. You can think, oh, I probably won't. And you might be right. And you might not be. But I think there's always the little something in the back of your head that says, what do I do when I get caught? Because you either want to get caught for whatever reason, or it's almost like you have this sort of living on the edge style of, this is exciting to me. I could get caught. And what if I do? I'm going to do it anyway. And that feeling is amplified. So some people want to get caught, and most people know they're going to get caught at some point or another if it continues. If it's like a one-off.
It's almost like a kink.
Yeah.
Borderline.
Or it's like a cry for help where you're like, I'm not happy. I don't know how to say that I'm not happy. I'm drowning. I'm going to cheat, and maybe this will get me out of it in some capacity.
Interesting.
A lot of different reasons.
Bring it back, Mistress Week. Bring it back.
Cheaters.
Wait, is there a word for men?
No, because is there ever?
Has there ever been?
Fucking never.
There's like 10 for women. Harlot.
Yes. Home wrecker. No man is ever called a home wrecker, by the way.
So true.
Ariana Grande was called a home wrecker, but old Ethan was not called a home wrecker, and he's the one that had the kid.
Right.
Like, it's always the woman's fault. So that's why we did Mistresses Week. I don't know. What would you call a man? A scoundrel?
It's the Mistress and Scoundrel Week.
Even that, it kind of gives you an air of like, oh, you're a scoundrel.
Look at you. You over here just having fun. Boys will be boys, girl. That's what that's giving right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Scallywags, scoundrel.
Scallywag Week.
Girl.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Lizette said, bring back Mistress Week.
Yeah.
And that's why we live in a patriarchy. If you wanted yet another piece of this is why we know we live in a patriarchy, it's because there's no derogatory word really for a man.
Womanizer.
Mistress Scallywag Week, girl.
Yes. A great Britney song.
I was gonna say
Really
even
great
womanizer isn't really like, oh, you know that man. Yes, Laura. Rapscallion.
Rapscallion Week.
Yes, because there's no names that you can ever call a man that are really that bad.
We'll just, you know what? We'll consult our external producer, ChatGPT. What's the name? I feel like I would really like that, because I think if we're coming at it from with all we keep seeing more of these type of women on TikTok, talking about guys in Charlotte cheating, and then where's that Facebook page that women talk about? Are you dating the same guy? I'm on the Tampa page. See,
I snuck in. I don't really have any reason to be there, but I like the drama.
Right, and so that's why I'm just like, there's obviously it's happening, and this is a public service of just talking to Rapscallions and
Scallywags.
mistresses and scallywags and scoundrels over the course of a week in July, and just being like, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What's your motivation? How are you getting around the technology part? Let's just get to know.
Now, are you talking about, well, I guess we could do all of them, but like people who are currently cheating right now and getting away with it? Or are you talking about reformed cheaters who did it? Okay.
Yeah. All. If you're doing it now, if you did it 5 years ago, feature a different one every week.
It'd be great content.
Or every day.
It is great because
Great content.
you're going to get different reasoning and different mindset from the people that are actively engaged versus people that are on the other side of it. And I think that's so interesting.
All right. Well, let's put the call out now. Let's start working on this for the summer for 1 week in July.
Okay.
And then we'll put on the schedule to sort of set it up on the air too to see if we can get people to volunteer.
Scoundrel week.
And then, what we really need to do is to figure out how to get a live voice disguiser. That's the hard part. I don't know.
We don't have to do it live. We could pre-record it and we could run it through Audition.
But what I would want is for people to be able to ask some questions too. Like I would want us to ask.
Come back the next day.
I don't know. Let's work on it.
Okay.
This is how we work on stuff behind the scenes. All right, Kelvin. If you're interested in doing this, send us a text.
Yeah.
Text hits, and if you'd like to participate in Scallywag.
Scoundrel.
Obviously, keep you anonymous.
Right.
Obviously, keep you
100%, because all of this will be 100% anonymous.
Yes.
Text hits if you want to participate to 96893. Kelvin, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media on Instagram at Kelvin Live, and you can follow at Los Yappers Podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to take a listen.
Holly?
Radio Holly on Instagram and TikTok and Threads, but I've pulled back from Threads because it was so much politics that I was just angry all day. So really, it's just TikTok and Instagram.
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Miguel Fuller. Please, if you see my stuff, come across, engage with it. I'm out here trying to grow.
Yeah, I'm out here liking everyone that I come across.
Thank you.
Like.
I feel like I did a good one yesterday that we may actually bring to the air. It's a good topic. So anyway, all right, we'll see you all on Friday.